So right. So let us have a glance for week 2. In a fast track, I will explain you week 2. Let me focus. It talks about in week 2, we had to construct a flow graph for insertion sort algorithm. And the second B program is we need to write a program for calculating the cyclomatic complexity. Now, before going to be start your week program, week 2, you need to first of all have a agenda. What you need to be keep in your documentation. You have to keep what actually the software metric means. You first of all talk about what actually the software requirement with one example. Software metric with one example. Second thing is you need to be talk about cyclo complexity in software testing. Next, flow graph notations. What are the different notations are available for any program? The flow graph notation. The fourth one, how to calculate the cyclo complexity. This cyclomatic complexity with one small example. Next is the properties of cyclomatic complexity. Steps for computing cyclomatic matrix complexity. Flow graph. The next is talks about the flow graph. Next talks about the program for to find the cyclomatic complexity. And the last is manually had to calculate by applying that formula, which is there for cyclomatic complexity. So this is the agenda thing we need to be added in your documentation. These are the points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Totally 9 things it need to be covered. So up to here, it is automatically available in, as I said you, the website. As I said you, the website, Guru 99. Already it is there in the Moodle Cloud. Please walk in Guru 99. Already it is there. So here you need to write the software. What is software metric? The first one. Next, with example in the sense here the example measure means what, metric means what. The second subheading talks about cyclomatic complexity in software testing. This you need to be talk over there. From there to this, and what is a node, what is the edge up to this. The third subheading here, flow graph for this. So all the notations you have to take care of this up to. So if you want the images, you can right click the image, you can copy the image and paste in your Word documentation. Fourth subheading, how to calculate the cyclomatic complexity. From here, starting from this mathematical representation, you need to be talk about with example, as I said, up to here. Up to here. Okay. Up to here, you need to be right under this heading. Just copy and paste. And if you want another example, you can add it. So if you want to use the same example, you can use the same. How to calculate this means like this is from here to here. Up to this, the heading. Next is the fifth subheading, properties. This is the properties for this, right? So up to properties, it is going to talking over here. What is the next is steps. So instead of going how this metric is useful for testing, it is not required. Now after completion of these properties, directly go to the steps. Where is the steps? Here. Steps to be followed. Up to this, you need to write steps of this. So if you're done from this website up to the steps, now your actual flow graph. So now this 3 has to be done uniquely. This 3 has to be done yourself. Flow graph, all. So up to the steps, the first of 6 subheadings will be take care from the Guru 99 or any other website which you require. So this concept has to be covered over there. Okay. Now next is talking about, I'll take one small example how we can be draw a flow graph. Already have explained you how to draw a flow graph, but for time being, let me will take a small program. Hope it is visible to you all. This is a small program. Now what this program talks about is a Python program, as you are selected most your entire class selected to write in Python. So Python program to find sum of even and odd numbers from 1 to n. So we are reading n value. We are reading n value and we are calculating sum of even. If it is even, calculate the sum. If it is not even, automatically it is odd, right? So to do that one, I request you, once you have a algorithm or a program, please make a numbers like 1, 2, 3 for each line. Whatever the lines, if you want, you can make it as this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make a line numbers, the program. So here what I have done is, in this example, For reading of the input, already you are aware in Python, input function you are going to use it. So again, we are converting because Python will be read as a strings. It has to convert into a typecasting, that is int. So input it is going to reading. So just initially I'm initializing event total 0, odd total is 0. For enter these 3 steps, because it's an initialization, so that's why I can keep as only as 1. If you want 2, 3, you can mention it. But for my understanding, I just use as a 1 here. For these 3 lines, I'm put as 1 numbering. Next line is for number in range. Already you know how to write this syntax for the for loop. For number in range, it 1 to max plus 1. So whatever the maximum value given, that plus 1. And the third step is if number modulo equal to 2 is 0, modulo 2 equal to 0, then it is a event. So we add that number to the event total. Else we add to odd total. That is the program. And finally, what we are doing, we are displaying the sum of the even numbers and sum of the odd numbers. So already you are aware how to make this format. Already you are aware the format function. We have format of number, how beautifully it will display the output. Now, if you see the code, how many lines are there actually? Maximum equal to, this is the first line, event total equal to second line, this is the third line, this is the fourth line, this is the fifth line, this is the sixth line, 7, 8, and 9, 10, right? But for our understanding, all 3 initialization, these are all initialization, reading and initializing the values, initializing the event total, odd total is initialization for total. I keep this all 3 lines as a 1 number, right? Next, for loop, line number 2. For if, line number 3. For condition true, line number 4. Else, there is no number is required. Else, fifth line, if it is false. Now, why we have keep it as a not 6 means, again, whenever the condition has true, this for loop has true, it goes to if. Agree? Now, once it has done if it is modulo equal to 2, done it 0, then total is even total. Else it goes to here. But even if it is a false condition, it will exclude this one. If it is a true condition, it will exclude this one. So finally, any one of this statement has to execute it and come to one position, such a way that from that position, the cursor, from here, the cursor again go to the for loop. So this has to repeat. So for this purpose, we are just using as a 6 here. Just for 6 means, maybe if false condition or true condition, any one of this statement has to execute, maybe this or this. So after executing of this or any this statement, it has to come into a cursor, has to come to a position. From there, it is again go to for loop. Again check the condition. If it is false, if this for loop is false, next that has to come to the 7th point, that is 7th line, as well as after 7, 8. So initially where the program starts, from 1. After that, from 1 where the program goes, the cursor goes to. Because drawing a flow graph means how the cursor, how the program execution cursor goes, that how we are going to representing in the form of circles. Each circle is called as node. Now it goes to, after 1, it goes to second step. Once the second step is true, it goes to third step. If second step is false, it goes to 7th step. And after 7, 8. If second step is true, for loop is a true here, the condition is true, it goes to third step. If third step is true, it goes to fourth step. If third step is false, it goes to fifth step. If true, if the third step is true, it goes to fourth step. After that, where it goes? Sixth step. If the third step is false, it goes to fifth step. After that, goes to 6. From 6, where it goes? It goes to again checking for second step, for loop again. So this process will be repeated until the for loop will be true. So once it is false, it goes to 7. After 7, 8. So like this, the flow will goes one after the other. Clear? Now for this, let me first draw the flow graph so that you can draw for your insertion start as well, right? So we have a circles, how we can be draw the circle. Say for example, how we need to draw the circles in the Word directly. If you know the any tool, you can directly use the tool, or if you have just simply use the Word documentation. Word, directly go to the insert, go to the shape, you can take the circle here. Here the circle, right? Just draw it like this, circle. Now double click on this circle, you can select this here. here. This is the boxes, right? Here. You take this. And if you want to add text, right click, add text. Just add one. So if you want any colors for this, you can apply the colors if you want. Like different shapes are available. You can apply any one of this, right? Now once it is done one, so how many steps are there here? Totally 8 steps are there. So you can draw up to 8 steps. Draw up to 8 steps. So this is the third one, for example, 3. Now once you are drawing this first step here, step 1, this is the max. Now for your understanding, you can also add the hint for here. How? You can just insert a text box here, a text box. You can consider this as a text box here for understanding what this step indicates. Insert, go to the text box, you can add here. So double click, you can use the white thing, add text. What are you doing here? Maximum you are reading, as well as even underscore total and odd underscore total. Okay. If you want, you can use like this. Okay. Max. So for your understanding, you can just keep like this, or double click, just make shape outline is no outline. Look like as outline, but no outline. First step is done. From first step where it goes, step 2. This is not mandatory. This is not mandatory. Which one? This one. This one is not mandatory. For our understanding, what you are doing in the step 1, we are just using maximum, even, total. We have writing a shortcut for our understanding. After 1, where it goes to the for loop, right? So for loop it goes here. Now if you want, you can copy this and paste, and you can write simply here, just simple for loop. For your understanding, for loop. You can reduce the size. Near to this, you can add. Near to this. If you want, you can add this also here. Okay, for loop. Now, if for loop is true, the condition number in range of 1 comma max plus 1 is true, where it goes from here, go to the insert, take this arrow bar, it goes to step 3. Agree. If you want to increase this arrow bar size, you can double click and you can use any one of the symbols like this. Big symbols, if you want, you can use. That is your choice. If it is true, it goes to third step. What is the third step here? If you want, for your understanding, just you can use as if or if condition. You can write as anything. If condition. If condition. Right. Now again, after the third step is true, where it goes? Again, it goes to a true or maybe a false. So what happened here? It goes to as a 2 different directions. In the third step, it will execute it 2 more. So one is true, another is false. You can copy paste this circle and you can add here 1. And again, you can copy and paste. You can add here 1. Right. 2 and 3. This is what? This is 4. This is for 2 and this is for 5. It's similar to the flowchart, nothing too more difficult. Only we are going to using a notation circle for all sort of things. Now we need to be add this, right? So if it is true, it goes to 4. If it is not true, that is false, it goes to 5. If it is maybe 3 to 4, it goes, or it goes to 3 to 5. So whatever it may be, it has to come again from the next step. That step is they have to come at one position. They has to come at one position, that is after true or after false. It has to come to the cursor comes to one position. That position we are indicating as 6th position, that is 6th line. Now once the if condition is over, if condition, this is for loop. Now this is for first iteration. If you are giving the value as max as 5, it will repeat for 5 plus 1, 6 means up to 5 iteration it will repeat. Now it goes to again where the condition again has to check the if condition over. Next the for loop, it goes to second iteration. Second iteration means what? From where it goes? It will goes from 6 to step number 6 to here. You can take any type of arrows based on your requirement. This is the arrow. From here, 6 step 2, it goes to where? It goes to 2. If you want, you can elaborate like this. You can expand, and you can double click, and you can use bold, very thin type of arrow marks. You can apply here also. Function F4. I'm applying here, here, here. If you want any bold here, for this also you can use bold circles so that it will be visible in a good manner. Just apply that. Okay, fine. Now it is for this. For loop, it will repeat. So this process will be repeated. Now if for loop is condition false, if for loop is false, where it has to come? 7 and followed by 8. Now take one more node. The circles are called as nodes. Take one more node. Here this is 7. 7. Now another is this is 8. Bring this down 8. Now if for loop is fails, where it has to come? From here. You can take any sort of, right? You can take any symbols, but it should be not overlap to each other. You can take this as well. That like this. This is for condition 4. You can apply any board here. Again, after 7 step, it goes to step 8. Just apply. So if you want, you can write here also, like similarly, if condition. Here you can write as a true. You can use this. You can insert text boxes so that it will not easily can. You can use T here when it is true. You can use T when you use false. F here. False condition. If you want, you can use here also like print. This is for print 1, print event total. That is your choice. Print event total, print odd total. Right. This is one example for you how we are going to be drawing. How we are going to draw this for this even and odd, sum of even and odd. Now, in the similar fashion, if you see the insertion sort, hope most of you have done it. If you see the insertion sort Python program, Python code, if you see this one, insertion sort, here already you are aware the Python program starts from here. It is maybe any code. So here the functions, maybe it will be used. Maybe if you are using function, insertion sort is a function. If you are going to using functions over there in the Python, the first step is initially a static array. You can, if you want, you can take as a dynamic array as well. So this is a static array, first step. Second step, it calls the function, step 2. Now from this step 2, it automatically goes to definition, step 3, right? In the step 3, again it goes to the definition. Step 4 is for loop, it is repeating. After that, it is initializing the key, 5th step. 6th step, if you want, you can add this 2 as a, I'm keeping as only one step. That depends on you. It's not mandatory to combine 2 or 3 statement as one step. It depends. It depends. Commonly, if that will be executed automatically, this also be executed. So whenever any conditions, any possibilities are there, there is a chances are there to not execute step 5 and also step 5, this 2, because whenever key equal to array of I will be executed, automatically j equal to I minus 1 will execute it. So that's why for this both the statements I have keep as only 5. If you want, you can use 5 and 6 separately. That's your choice. Now it starts with the while loop. It starts with while loop here. 6th one, while loop. Once the while loop is true, it will execute it, this step and this step. 7 and 8. This will, both the steps will be executed. Now, once the while is false, already you know the indentation, right? Once the while is false, it comes to where? It comes to 9th step, right? Now, once the for loop, so key equal to array of I, j equal to I minus 1, array of j plus 1 equal to key, all these 3 belongs to for loop steps. This 2 belongs to while step. Are you understanding this one? Because the indentation, see the indentation of this in this key, same position of j, same position of array. So these 3 steps belongs to this. Now in the while, it is the 2 steps. Okay, so up to here 9 step. Once the for loop as true, it will be executed. If the for loop as false, if the for loop fails, automatically it goes to the cursor, automatically move to where it comes. Where it comes actually from insert sort. So automatically 9 steps is over here. It starts with step 10. It starts with 10th step because it returns from the definition of the function and return back to here. So this is a 10 and 11 for loop. 12th step is print. So it will display it over here. So for this, how you need to be draw the figure, that is going to be taken care. This is available in internet browsers from there. And for this, form the steps: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Now tell me the steps, how it will be executed. Tell me the step. First step is it goes to here. Second step here. Now from here, second step to it goes to third step. In the third step, it goes to the fourth step. If fourth step true, it goes to 5, 6, 5, 6 over here. If fourth step true, it goes to 5, 6. Now if fourth step is false, if for loop is false, it goes to where? If for loop false, it goes to, from 4, it goes to 10th step, right? Now, if 4 step is true, it goes to 5 and 6. If 6 is true, it goes to where? 7 and 8. It goes to 7th step and 8th step. If this one fails, if 6 fails, where it goes? It goes to 9th step. After 9, where it goes? Again, it goes to for loop. It goes to again for loop. 9, it goes to for loop. It will repeat the process. So if for loop true, it goes to inside. If for loop false, it goes to 10th step. In for loop also, if 6th step is true, it goes to 7 and 8 step. If 6th step fails, it goes to 9th step. Once after the 9th step, it goes to for loop iteration. So this process will be repeated. Now, once the for loop is fails in the definition, in the function, it comes to 10th step. Now, after 10th, it goes to 11th step, again goes to 12th step. Okay, so like this, the graph just now we had drawn for even and odd. In the same fashion, you please try to draw that also. So in the definition, for the definitions also, you can also use circuit itself. You can draw that one. So please try yourself from your end how the program will execute it over here. And the second B program is here. What is a B program? So you need to write a Python code. So this is very easy because we need to what? Read n. That is, we need to read in the graph n number of vertices, edges we need to read, and p. So just replace that 3 values inside this formula and display the v of g. And after this, what is the last thing we had to do? We had to do manual calculation. So manually for this program. So for this insertion sort, you draw the graph, right? Flow graph. But in that flow graph, Just decide yourself how many nodes you get it, how many vertices you get it, how many edges you get it, and how many p's you get it. P means what? Constraint. So if you see the example here in the constraint, how many constraints are there? This is first constraint for loop. The while, second constraint. The third constraint is again a for loop. So totally how many constraints are there? 3. So now P here is 3. Now P will be here is 3 in that previous case. Now in the insertion sort, you please take care as the number of nodes and number of edges. So already I have drawn the figure, but I don't want to show you that. You please try yourself from your. So this is the agenda over this. So if you have any doubts, clarification, you please try yourself, and tomorrow we'll have a presentations for a memory batch. So that's about the week 2 of software engineering for flow graph and to calculate the cyclomatic complexity.